saying there's a hummy buzz or something? No? It was just bugging you. How's it going, everybody? So, technical issues seem to be better today. Welcome, 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 as I take my buddy Brett Papa's catchphrase. Yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't think he would mind me doing that. So, if you look at the title of the live stream, we're going to be doing a little jam, which I just did. That was me doing a little jam. And so I have a cool double stop lesson that I've been thinking about that I want to show you guys. And then also, I'm going to go over here and dial in an amp from square one, just to show you the concepts that I like to do. So, and I'm seeing your comments. So we got Nikki Gagne, Ilya Malkov, Randy Stinson, Cecilo Godinez, who's in Guanajuato, Mexico. Wow, cool. Johnny Green, I love you too. Ringo Neal. Ringo. Hey, Ringo. Let's work on this lesson, shall we? So, I'm going to show you this double stop trick, or it's not a trick, but just a really cool double stop idea that I was doing in that jam, and that you can implement into, you know, a blues or a funk or a rock. It's going to work in all of it, and I'm using like E, the key of E, as a concept for that. So we can actually zoom in on the guitar right here, which my production crew, the production team, can zoom in right here on the guitar. So you can think of this as an E blues. You know, you got the E minor pentatonic, the root on the 12th fret. So that's kind of how we're locking it in. You've got the A root E minor pentatonic right here. So that's the 7th fret. So there's a little connector of double stops that that last jam I was doing was kind of, that was a Meters song, the band The Meters. You got to check them out. But I was kind of taking it from a guitar player named Grant Green, who's just amazing. You guys got to check out Grant Green if you never heard of him. He's not alive anymore. Anyway, here's the double stop. It's in the key of E. You can think of it this way. This little part of the A root E minor pentatonic. So 7th fret on the high E and 8th fret on the B. And then the cool thing is you can move that up a whole step. And then you're right there in that A-rooted minor pentatonic. Up. Okay, we're going to keep adding to it. So 7 and 8, up a whole step, which would be 9 and 10. And then the index finger goes up to 10 on the high E. Ring finger goes to 12 on the B. And you can do them in different combinations, and there's a lot of other multiplications that you can add to that. But watch, I'll use that loop I had, and I'll just do those double stops. So once again, 7 and 8, then up a whole step, and then 10 and 12, and then any blues stuff in those positions that you can add in between. Oh, so here's what I'll do. I guess I erased that. I'll just do a real simple E blues thing with my looper. There it is. So here it is. Sounds good, right? Sounds like the blues. You guys with me so far? Did that help? I like that trick a lot, actually. Well, I don't want to call it a trick, though, you know? I don't know if trick's the right word. Okay, so I'm going to show you one more thing to add to that. Well, kind of like 2 or 3 more things, actually. Let me check my stream here. Make sure everyone's tuning in. Looks good. Cool. Oops, let me turn the volume down on my phone. That's a problem. Okay, so let's zoom in again on the guitar. I'm going to show you another thing to add to it. So we did this, we did that, and we did that, right? Well, the next thing up is right in our home row. Right? So here's another double stop thing that you can add. It's from the home row. So it's classic. You might already know it, but it would be, you can add it with this. So it'd be the 15 on the high E, but then what's called the major 6, which is not from that pentatonic. It's the 14th fret. So 15 and 14. But then you can also add this. Just the 2 classic, you know. So just the 12th fret on the high E and B. So let me, I'm going to use that now to improvise. And then when that's done, we're going to take this Mesa Boogie and dial in a tone, and I'll show you how I think about it. So let me finish up this little double stop thing here. I'm going to use my looper to do something a little more interesting than the... I'm just going to do like a funk groove. And this is a good looper tip while we're here is, you know, when you hit the looper, that's the start, and that's also where you want it to start over. So when you click and to start the loop, you want to create a good loop, click down right on that same spot in time. So if I do a little beat, I want to click on that downbeat on the 1 to start and end the loop. So check it out. And I'm going to use those double stops. Here we go. See? Now add a chord. Add a bass line. Oh yeah. Now I'll use those double stops. Here we go. All right. Yes. Double stops. You never stop. You don't stop. The double stop. You don't stop. How are you guys doing? Let me check in. Oh, we zoomed out. Nice zoom out, cameraman. Camera number one. Camera number two. Holy funk! The comment section is going crazy because of how good this is. Hey, if you want me to say something nice, that's a good way to do it. Funk Wars. Bob Agan, thanks again for your continued support. Seattle, checking in. Yo, Marty, what up, Jason? What up, Jason? Doug Nichols, Car Wash. Actually, there is, this is the interactive portion of the live stream. So Doug Nichols said Car Wash, and if I was in that same key, this is what he was hearing. He was hearing this. That's the Car Wash riff, so to speak. But there's even more, because I've played Car Wash before. So if you have the wah pedal, if you add the wah to it, you get that. Let me turn that on. And then you also get this. That is Car Wash, actually, by the way. I don't know if I'll ever be teaching that one on Marty Music or not. Not sure. But the techniques of Car Wash are solid. Did you like that, Doug? Thanks. Ray John's been watching for years. Okay, so here's what we're going to do now in this portion of the live stream. And thank you, by the way, for all your continued support of Marty Music especially. I hope you like the release schedule, 5 days a week, different kind of content. Obviously, I've released those little countdown videos. But don't worry, I'm not becoming a countdown specialist. I am going to be doing fun content like that, but it's all about the lessons, people. It's all about the lessons. So, this right here was the line that was going into my divided by 13 right here. I'm going to turn that off. So this was the line. I've got this Mesa Boogie, which if you look along here, and at some point we'll zoom right in on the amp, but you don't have to yet. The Mesa Boogie actually has almost like three individual amplifiers built in, or channels. So you can use a foot switch and have three completely different settings, and it kind of works like this. The super clean channel, the medium channel, and then the hot distortion channel. They sound great, but I am the kind of guy that likes a really clean setting, and then I use pedals to get the gain, the distortion, and all that. So I've got a lot. One of the comments I see the most on the YouTube videos is, Marty, say what amp settings you have in the beginning. And I do that sometimes, or I say, oh, I'm using the Big Muff pedal, or I'm using the King of Tone pedal. But really, even whether I have the Tele, the Strat, the Les Paul, the Hollow Body, for the most part, I keep the amp setting the exact same and then season it with the pedals. So I like to get a super clean sound. Right now, I'm going to take this, and we can zoom in on the amp now. I'm going to take the line, and we're going to put it right in this thing called inputs, which the guitar is going through my pedal board, and then, which none of the pedals are on right now. We're going to go straight in, and I have it set for channel 1. Now, if you're looking right here, there's lots of little doohickeys, bells and whistles, tchotchkes, whatever funny little word I can think of. They're just set for standard. But basically, the idea with the Mesa Boogie is you can just get any kind of sound out of it that you want. I like to go for a Fender style clean sound. So watch. It's standby. I'm going to switch it on. If I have everything turned up, you're not going to hear anything. Well, I don't hear anything. Why is that? Well, because all the knobs are down. Look across the board. Down, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. They're all at 0, aren't they? Yeah. I'm going to get up and move over here. But I'm not worried about being on film right now. It's all about this right here. So I'm going to say what we got. Most amps fit into, this same category where you've got basically an overdrive or a gain setting. So that's this one. That's gain. Then you've got master volume. So just like on a guitar pedal, you've got like the amount of distortion and then the amount of volume of the distortion. That's all turned down. And then just like on a Fender amp, there's what's called presence, which is kind of like how much definition you hear in the tone. Then you've got very classic treble, mid, and bass. So if I turn the master volume all the way up, but the gain is turned all the way down, you're still not going to hear anything. I mean, barely, right? So that doesn't work. So first thing I'm going to do is just talk about the EQ, which is the presence, the treble, the mids, and the bass. This is what I like to do. I like to just go, I guess you could call this EQing it flat, but it's just everything is halfway up. So the treble, halfway up, the mids, halfway up, the bass, halfway up, and then the presence, halfway up. So that, in other words, is kind of how I like to think of the starting point. So if I'm playing a Telecaster and I'm out in front of the amp and it's sounding super crispy and too bright for my ears, then I start thinking about, okay, turn the presence down a little bit. You can kind of think of presence almost as like the crispiness character in it. So I could turn the presence down a little bit. I could turn the treble down a little bit because that's the high-end frequencies, right? If I'm playing a Les Paul and it's sounding really muddy, maybe I turn the presence up a hair, I turn the bass down a hair, and maybe I turn the treble up a hair, and the mids can stay kind of right where they are. Sometimes I take the mids down just a hair, but we haven't heard anything yet, right? Like I said, I want a really clean setting. So what I'm going to do is I am going to turn the gain up, I don't know, what would that be, 10% up, right? You're still not going to hear anything because the master volume is not up. And most overdrive pedals work with the same concept. So now that I've turned the drive up, because I want the drive or the gain as low as possible to still get a tone because I'm going for the clean tone, right? If I had the gain all the way up and the master all the way down and then slowly brought it up, that'd be the dirtiest this channel can be. So we'll do that too, but this is the cleanest I can get this channel. So I turn the gain up about 10% and then I start turning the master volume up till I get a tone. I'm going to turn the gain up a bit. The reverb is in the back of the amp, and I can hear that the reverb is really hot on it. So I'm going to turn this down. All right, so I can turn the gain up a little bit more. Falling there. Master up some more. Gain up a little bit. I don't know, I think so that's a nice clean tone, and then I would use pedals to get different sounds, which we're going to do, but let's reverse it. I'm going to turn the master volume all the way down, and I'm going to turn the gain all the way up, and then as I bring this up, it'll be the dirtiest that this channel can be. It's still the clean channel, so it's not going to be super dirty, but I can even switch to... So that gives you more of a distortion sound because the gain's all the way up and the master volume just, you know, comes up to get a sound. You can get pretty raunchy with it. Okay, I'm going to go back to a clean sound by turning the gain way back down. There's also a master volume over here. Turn the treble down a little bit, the bass up a little bit, the mids down a little bit. All right. right, so I'm going to come back over here. Unfortunately, we're getting the sound from the camera, so really the concept is better than, than the sound that the camera can produce. Telecaster settings, I usually turn everything up, and I'm using the neck pickup. So, yeah. Everybody. So now I'm coming out of the Mesa Boogie, and I'm going to play. Yeah, I got a little song prepared. We're not really prepared, but hey, someone's in San Marcos. Luis Villafana. That's where I live, San Marcos. How you doing? All right, you guys ready to hear another tune? And then I'm going to just look at your comments after that. So I picked out a little song. I haven't done the Grateful. Hey, Marcelo joined. He finally figured out how to find it. That's our old friend that we grew up with. So, hey, Charles Williams is my father-in-law. Got to give a shout out to the father-in-law. Hey, Charlie, good to see your comment. All right, so I'm gonna play a little Grateful Dead jam, since I was doing more blues and funk. And then we'll just look at your comments and give some shout outs. All right, let's see what happens here. All right, let's see what happens. This one's called Bird Song.